How's your kids? What's new? What's going on?
There's this commercial, a Huggies commercial, where there's like a little talking pee and a little talking poop on a roll of toilet paper.
On one roll?
On one roll, yes, on one roll.
Okay.
I don't know what kind of peasants have just one roll of toilet paper at their house. But the kids are all laughing at it, and my son says that would never happen, that they would be absorbed by the toilet paper. To which like every adult in the room looked at him and was like, well, yeah, that's accurate. And my point was, they're literally talking.
Yeah,
the thing you zoom on is the absorbency of the toilet paper. It's literally talking pee and poop. That should be the thing that maybe you would say is not.
It's willing suspension of disbelief for something.
Not absorption, it turns out.
These are story devices I just cannot abide.
Unwilling to accept. Talking human waste product? Fine. But non-absorbent toilet paper? No.
Quiet, please.
I'm like, son,
in 4.
You clearly have never been in a porta potty.
3.
Because those things are just made out of wax paper.
2.
Presents a truly terrible podcast. Welcome to Nonsense Season 3, Episode 38. I'm Jeff Parker.
I'm Skittle.
This is our take on the week's business, tech, and entertainment headlines. This time, RFK Jr. takes aim at U.S. vaccine safety net.
What do we want? Measles. When do we want it? Now.
Netflix's The Eternaut signals new era of AI and entertainment.
And the Oscar goes to ChatGPT.
The Genius Act is paving the way for presidential crypto grift.
Oh, I think you forgot the word more in that sentence, Jeff.
I did. Also, our big story later this week is about sleep, the ultimate performance hack.
Oh, sleep. I love sleep. It's a fascinating concept to me.
Oh, me too. Me too. Big fan.
Well, no, I don't like actually sleeping. I mean, I enjoy sleeping, but I like being up and doing stuff. But we'll debate that later in the week. Did you know that sea otters will hold hands when they sleep so that they don't drift away from each other?
Is that right?
Supposedly. Yeah. If my wife were a sea otter, I'm pretty sure she would just push me down over the waterfall. Yeah, just like, oops, sorry, we must have let go. Also, this is also fascinating to me. 75% of us dream in color today.
Okay.
But apparently before color television, only 15% of us did. Which begs the question, what do the other 25% of us now currently dream in, if it's not color?
I dream in radio. I still dream in radio.
Just Orson Welles in a Speedo talking on a mic? Is that totally what it is the whole time?
In a Speedo? No, I hope not in a Speedo.
I don't know. Your kink, not mine.
A lot of my dreams still, and this is incredible, are in Morse code.
You dream at 5 words per minute.
Yeah, it's great.
Do you like wake up and be like, the Japanese are attacking Pearl Harbor? Like, what do you wake up with in the morning?
Morse code is so slow. The Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor about 2 days ago.
Totally. It's almost getting there, but it works. I mean, you got to know how to dot.
Morse code was fabulous for sending off historical notes.
Sure. Exactly. It's a time machine going the other way. My fear with the Morse code is in the near future, I'm afraid the Russians are going to crack it.
It'll happen. It'll totally happen. You mark my words. It's Pi Approximation Day.
Oh, boy. 3. The answer's 3. I just did that in my head.
Amazing. Pi Approximation Day on July 22nd celebrates 22/7, an early estimate for pi. From ancient Babylonians to Archimedes and Zhu Changxi, mathematicians have tirelessly calculated this infinite constant. Modern computing power has pushed pi's digits into the trillions, even serving as a computer stress test. Celebrate the day by having a deliberately imprecise slice of pie.
I can't imagine a job or a career path where you feel more like you're trapped inside the machine than this. You just you go to work and you come home with like 35 more digits. Like, I just
You think you get 35 digits a day? That would be...
I don't know. What is it? 35,000 digits. What does it matter?
Oh, it matters because you want to go to the conventions and you want to brag. I got 7 more digits.
Just a giant race. Is that all it is?
Yeah.
It's just a giant peeing competition is really what it is.
And the conventions are just the most debaucherous things you can possibly imagine.
They like to party.
Everyone's having affairs.
Totally.
Everyone's constantly drunk. These people are insane.
They're not even allowed back at Marriott properties after 2006. Oh, yeah. They tore it up.
Chris Martin finds them and puts them up on the big screen.
Totally.
How is your week going?
Oh, my week has been lovely. As I get older, I find myself enjoying surprise parties more and more. I just think it's fun to do to other people.
Especially with people with weak hearts.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Man, when you watch that look on their faces, like as you see them falling and collapsing to the ground.
As they clutch their chest. Sure. No, it's great.
Yeah, totally. We staged a double surprise party. I didn't stage it. I just showed up for a family member. We had a nice little brunch. It was like a 60th birthday surprise. A bunch of friends were there, a little bit of family.
Sounds wonderful.
And because her birthday was a month away, it was a very nice way to sort of get in front of it and fake her out on brunch. Except, here's the thing, the brunch wasn't the actual surprise. It was the fake surprise to throw her off. And then at dinner,
even more people.
We had like 90 people, a bunch of other folks that came in. and that totally got her. So it was an absolute blast. Of course, after the second surprise, everyone now can speak freely. You're no more hiding in secret.
Sure.
To which then I assumed the role of just yelling surprise every time she would open a door, because I just thought it was hysterical. And I was like, oh, there's 2 more coming. Like, I open the bathroom door, I'd be like, surprise! Just constantly do that.
She could not wait for you to get out of Phoenix.
Oh, she usually can't wait for me to leave, which is fantastic. But it was a lot of fun.
The biggest surprise was on the chef, who had only planned dinner for 4.
You didn't tell me. I'm pretty sure she has PTSD now. Like, I think she's opening doors like very slowly. Just has a little crack and looking inside now.
Just
from
praying
my work.
that CJ is not there.
It was good fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of pictures. It was a lot of time with family, which, in small doses is doable.
I love that.
But it was great. How about you? How was your week?
This is unbelievable. AliExpress cut me off.
Oh, they finally read my letter, huh?
I'm sure that you're the one who reported me.
Oh, no, it was many of us. There's several people in your house. We all got together. It was like an intervention.
I had a cart full of stuff and I was going to buy it.
Okay.
By the way, I pay with PayPal. I don't give them my digits.
Of course.
It's 2025. I don't have to give my digits to anybody. I tap to pay.
Why would you trust the Chinese? Of course, I understand.
It's not the Chinese. I don't trust the Americans. I don't give my digits to anybody. So
Sure.
PayPal, and I pushed it, and the thing just flashed, and it wouldn't order, and I kept trying. I tried it on my phone. It absolutely wouldn't work. And the only
Did
conclusion...
you get like a Dear John letter? It was like, Dear Jeff.
You're done.
Totally. I love that like FanDuel won't cut you off. They'll just let you keep gambling until all your money's gone.
For sure.
But meanwhile, AliExpress is like, sir, can you just work with the ESP32s you have currently? There's like a 6-month cooling off period before you can buy more.
They behave as if they're guests in this country, so they're very polite,
Totally.
very thoughtful.
As opposed to FanDuel, who's a citizen of this country, and they just behave as badly as
They
want.
must think you're some kind of narc or something. They're just like, look at how much of stuff this guy's ordering. This is statistically significant. We're going to not ship any more to him.
Anyway, I finally got the thing to work again, so apparently enough time had passed so that I could order more.
Did you lose your cart? Because that can be the most frustrating
No.
thing. I don't normally. AliExpress is really good about cart preservation. Yeah,
They're
yeah.
excellent at, and by the way, I have multiple AliExpress carts, and I don't lose any of them ever. They're remarkable how good
It
they
is
are.
remarkable. I have carts from years ago
Yeah.
just sitting there in purgatory waiting to be bought.
Amazon will dump things out of my cart, but AliExpress never.
What?
Yeah.
No. Only if the one of them gets pulled.
Well, that happens.
Well, yeah, of course. But then what choice do they have? They can't leave it in your cart if it's not available.
Shall we get to our headlines?
Oh, please.
Health hazard ahead. RFK Jr. takes aim at U.S. vaccine safety net. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., now leading the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, targets the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. His proposed overhauls, including expanding compensation for debunked links to autism and chronic illnesses, threaten to deplete the fund and push vaccine makers out of the U.S. market, imperiling crucial childhood immunizations and public health. What do you think about this?
He likes to end all of these statements with, we're going to follow the science. And I'm like, I don't know if you know what that S word means.
Yeah, this is not even complicated science. This is just counting.
Like,
when we gave a vaccine to this number of people, this percentage of people had the problems with the measles.
Yeah.
When we didn't give the vaccine to this number of people, this number. And those numbers were just obviously different.
The autism link is a fascinating one to me. I think the majority of why this still exists and why there's a subset of people that still believe it is because your symptoms of autism normally present themselves around the same time that you're getting a vaccine dose for those kids.
Sure.
So it's easy to be like, well, last month we didn't see these signs. This month we do, and we got a vaccine last month. Therefore, they must be connected.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's why you have these long-term studies to look at the data and go, no, that's not the case.
Yeah, sure.
The Vaccine Injury Compensation Program, most people don't know what this is. This was established in the 80s under Reagan because we had a point in time where we could not get vaccines in this country because we were going after
Because of liabilities,
vaccine
right?
manufacturers for liability. And they were just like, well, this doesn't make sense for us to make these here. Like, this is not going to make us a profit. This does not make sense. So my concern here, certainly one of many, is if you take apart the compensation program, which could be done in many ways, it doesn't have to be dismantled. You could just, if you tack on...
You bankrupt it.
Exactly. You could bankrupt it. And if you drive... And the way that this is funded is by the vaccine makers.
Backtrack just a second.
Yeah.
It's not that we are keeping people who have valid claims from getting paid. We're not giving a liability shield to the vaccination companies from paying these people. They are just paying into a fund, a very small amount each year. That fund is what is being used to pay off these claims. The people who have claims are still getting paid. If you have valid claims, you will still get paid.
So since its inception, it's paid out about $4.8 billion in awards for harm and serious side effects. And the rate of these is they found with its current terms that about 1 out of every 1 million doses of vaccines distributed between 2006 and 2023, about one person was compensated for every million doses. That's like the rough balance, which I think roughly aligns with how many side effects we expect to see from these. Again, they are overarchingly safe.
Yeah, sure.
And the point of this fund was to allow sort of quick compensation that everyone's paying into it. From what I can tell, it really makes sense. But more importantly, why it came to be in the mid-'80s was because you couldn't get these vaccines. And that was a big problem. And my fear is if we drain this, well, again, one of my fears is if you drain this fund, you may have vaccine manufacturers, which, to be clear, several of these vaccines are made by one manufacturer or maybe two or three.
Yeah.
And if they pull out of the market, you then can't get vaccines. And it's like they don't have an obligation to make this. So I understand the argument of like,
Right, of course.
well, if they can't be liable, if they can't be wholly liable, then they're not going to be safe. And it's like, well, but we've proven this with science and shown how safe they are. If you're going to now open up outside of science and logic and claims that are not rooted in science, well, yeah, of course, they're going to run for the hills. They're just going to stop making this stuff. And then we're worse off.
The U.S. vaccine system is surprisingly fragile, even in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, because it's relatively niche, it's at scale, and there's not a lot of money to be made in it. I mean, if these arguments were true, which like the argument, I shouldn't even say the argument. One of the views that is perpetuated is that, quote, big pharma makes all this money on vaccines. If that were true,
everybody would be manufacturing vaccines.
There would be a bajillion vaccine manufacturers. You would see ads for which vaccine. You want this? Oh no, you want this chickenpox vaccine, not this one.
Right.
That is not the case.
You want the vanilla flavored chickenpox vaccine.
Okay,
you want
first
the
of all,
chocolate flavored.
I've gotten a lot of feedback to the flavored vaccines. A lot of people have said they'd be well over vaccinated.
Oh yeah,
if you had the flavored vaccine. So careful there with the vanilla or the bacon fat, because I'm getting hungry now. But the reality is that it is very fragile.
Yeah.
And I think if you just look at if you believe that big pharma is out to make a lot of money and they're just a bunch of profiteers. Okay, if there was big money in vaccines, why wouldn't there be 100 different vaccine manufacturers? And there's not.
The system would be a lot less fragile.
If you apply a modicum of logic to your crappy arguments, you'll learn pretty quickly, no, this isn't the case.
Yeah.
This is concerning. And he's talking about some things where I can go, oh, that maybe is like a veiled positive thing for the world. But then you go, oh, behind that, there's a whole bunch of things that aren't very positive. And this is concerning. And when you go outside of the science, it's real problematic. And my favorite thing is to go outside the science and then say, we're going to follow the science. And I'm like, you can't say that and then not do it and expect me to believe it. There is this sort of short-term staring at your shoes problem, which is because you have gotten decent compliance, at least up to the past couple of years, with childhood immunizations. You don't have a control population by which to look at that currently.
Yes,
you've got to go back in time, or you've got to change environment. You got to go look at a different country. And that's where people get wrapped around the axle. And it's like, measles didn't get old and die.
Right.
Like, it didn't just like stop. It stopped because we were able to get folks a healthy dose of this and prevent it from spreading. Like, that's what we did. But we've already lost sight of that. And it's bananas to me that there are a whole bunch of people still alive today that had friends that had polio or that had measles.
Yeah, sure.
We've managed to just forget that. And it's only been, what, maybe 2 or 3 generations back?
I have a friend who had polio.
Wow, that's nuts. Really?
Yeah, absolutely. She can't walk because of polio.
And the thing is, we're going to lose those folks, right? Like, there's not a lot of them left. And then, like, well, now what's your firsthand account? Do we really have to go through that all again? Do we have to take a big step backwards and go through all of that again?
Well, she's roughly my age, so we have a long time with her still alive.
Well, yeah.
At least that's what I keep telling myself.
My point is, we seem very short-sighted on this.
Yeah.
And the science is pretty clear. Like, we're moving on to better science.
Yeah.
But then there's this force like, oh, no, we're going to go back and revisit this again with a new look. Like, what do we expect to be different? I'm not saying we shouldn't look at things in the past again.
Always re-examine.
But
yes.
Is there a reason? What is the reason? What is the thing we expect to change? And I have yet to see anything behind this. Even this vaccine injury compensation program, it's been, Kennedy has said, we brought in new people, it's going to be completely overhauled, it's going to be so much better, yet they won't tell us who the people are. Well, wait, you just put a new team in place and we got to connect the dots ourselves to find out who it is? Like, this is not great. It's certainly not transparent. And this is another one of these problems too, where it's like, you can say, well, I'm going to continue to, choose to get vaccinated. It's like, well, but it's kind of secondhand smoke. Like, you choosing to smoke next to me is still going to get me sick. And you choosing to not vaccinate yourself or your kids is still going to have an effect on other people that don't choose that. And that's the problem.
You end up without herd immunity. So the virus is able to stay alive in the community. That's the problem.
And folks that are immunocompromised, you don't have a response to the vaccine, they're the ones that get screwed. So if you're unlucky enough to be one of those people, we don't have a lot of empathy for you. You'll just, good luck with the death or the iron lung.
Faster, cheaper, better. Netflix embraces AI for visual effects. Netflix subtly used generative AI for a fleeting building collapsing in the Eternaut, unnoticed by viewers. This marks the streamer's first on-screen generative AI footage created 10 times faster and cheaper. It proves AI can enhance visuals for modest budgets, signaling a significant shift in entertainment production. production despite ongoing industry debates.
Well, look, they say it was unnoticed by viewers, but I could tell because that building had a third arm. So I knew that it was AI rendered.
It had too many fingers.
It had too many fingers. It had that creepy sixth finger. I was like, wait, what's going on here? I mean, I understand this is news, but this is also just kind of, to me, like not news. Like if you've been on any of the short form media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, whatever.
Oh, for sure. The only news is the milestone that now Netflix has a show who actually has used a generative AI shot. It's a tiny little shot too, whatever it was, 2-point-something seconds.
Yeah.
It's really short.
Which makes even more sense for this application here, right? Because I think they said like on orders of magnitude, it was roughly 1/10 the amount of time to make this shot. Sort of this shot that's just in the background that you wouldn't even really notice.
It goes by so fast.
Yeah,
right.
so unless you've got a giant budget, it's hard to do. There's a whole bunch of folks that are saying this is gonna doom everybody. This visual effects industry is gonna be wiped out. Yada yada yada. I really liked Ted Sarandos's view on this. So he had said that very high level, it's an incredible opportunity to help creators make films and series better. Like, okay, yes, but it still hasn't addressed sort of the ending of the world for all the VFX artists. The other comment he made that I thought was fascinating, he goes, you're probably going to make more money by making the content 10% better than you are by making it 50% cheaper.
He's right.
And I thought that was right. Like, such a great view to just be like, no, you're going to better the product. Also highlighting that when these computers started making VFX better and cheaper, you saw an explosion in that industry.
Yeah.
You didn't see the number of heads working to go down. You saw it go way, way up.
Well, we saw the number of heads who worked for the miniaturization industry go way, way down. The people who were making the tiny little models that they were previously making this thing out of. By the way, I feel bad for all the people who were doing stop motion animation for effects.
Wallace and Gromit. Sorry, Wallace and Gromit. You're gone. The last 6 people in that industry.
When computer effects came along, their jobs were on the line.
I mean, we never even talk about the guys doing colorization. No one's making black and white films anymore. Where are all those colorization guys going to go? I mean, it's really fascinating. You look at like the special effects industry, which has just exploded in the past 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
And then that path went right through miniaturization, right? You had a modicum of technology in miniaturization and improvements there, and it just kept growing and building.
For sure.
I suspect that's still going to be the case here. I also love the idea of being able to bring a, quote, big budget look to small budget films.
Yeah.
Not even films, just like content creation at large.
This is a $15 million series that looks like, I mean, if you look at the footage that they put out, it looks like they spent a fortune on this thing.
Well, that's what's so interesting to me is it feels like, I'm not saying this is the argument that's being made, but it kind of feels like the argument being made against this is, well, we used to spend a lot of money and a lot of people made money on that. We got to keep doing that. And it's like, no.
Yeah, right.
No, that's not the right answer, right? And I do think we're probably going to see an average production cost go down. I think you see a production count go up and a total spend go up, which is net positive.
I've never seen production costs go down in my lifetime. I'll believe you if that's what you think, but I've never seen that in my lifetime.
But this is a great example, right? Like this is like a $15 million budget series.
Yeah.
You didn't make this series, 20 years ago? Probably wasn't possible.
We made a series that filled this void, this type of entertainment. We just made it for even less money.
Yeah.
There used to be a time when you'd make an hour-long television show for under $1 million. That doesn't, you never hear of that anymore.
Yeah, I'm not close enough to it to know, but I hear your point. You're just saying like, you're going to make more and it's going to be incrementally more, but it's also going to be much more better, right? That's Ted's point. You make it 10% better.
What I think is super cool is how many visual effects you now get in shows that don't appear to have any visual
effects at all. Yeah. That's what's so incredible to me.
Did you watch Ted Lasso?
I did.
All of the soccer scenes.
Yeah.
That crowd that you see in those soccer scenes is not there.
Yeah.
They're playing soccer in front of green screens.
Sure.
And you would never know there's any visual effects there.
Or they're just playing on the pitch, and I think they just replicated the audience on the pitch.
Yeah, totally.
Like, it's incredible.
The audience is completely computer generated.
Yeah. I think they did the classic, like, you fill up a section and then you just stamp it out and lather, rinse, repeat, change shirt colors, whatever.
But you would never know you're watching a special effect. The show has nothing to do with special effects. It's fantastic.
And then meanwhile, you go watch old Star Wars and you're like, oh, I can see the matte lines. I can see that.
Totally.
I can see where George cut this out of cardboard in the back. That to me is the story. The story is how much that's progressed and how much easier that has gotten. And the fact that you can get these tools and a listener right now can pull down Blender and go make their own really cool VFX locally, basically for free.
100%.
Which is really incredible to me. Like, you've pushed this all the way to the edge, if you will.
It's amazing.
That's really neat.
Happy to be here. I enjoy the present. If you get a chance, check out episode 6 of the Eternaut.
Oh, that's one that has this, right?
The cold tomato juice episode around the 59-minute, 49-second mark. And you will see a really cool 2-second shot.
Zoom right into 59:49. See the shot and get out. So tell me, what month and year is this no longer going to be news?
Today. We just did it.
All right? Is it like August of 2025 where you're just like, but it's just, is 100% going to be table stakes?
Look on YouTube. It already
Yes.
is. Netflix is late to the game.
Exactly.
I mean, the only thing that's interesting about this story is it just is marking a milestone.
Yeah.
Finally, Netflix has joined a party that's been going on for a year.
Do you also just think they were the first ones to actually say it? Like, do you feel like there was a bunch of this happening before and it was just like the AI generated cases and the, and court filings where they're just putting it under the radar? Like, was it, as it turns out, like half of Ted Lasso was AI generated and like Bill just wanted to tell anybody?
Yeah,
like,
I have no idea. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I wonder how much it was there. Now, like finally, like they all just sat around the table and like, Ted, you gotta tell her, you gotta be the one.
You gotta go public. You gotta tell them we do it.
You gotta be the one.
This.
Like, I wonder, because it does seem like they are so far behind the wave on this. Meanwhile,
sure.
I'm watching shorts on Instagram on the daily of gorillas, with a selfie camera, like on the daily.
Exactly.
It's fascinating to me.
This reminds me, I have cinematographer friends and they always point out this shot or this shot or this shot in this little expensive movie.
Sure.
That had to be shot on a GoPro.
Oh, really?
You shot that on a sub $500 camera.
It's incredible.
Yeah, because there's no other way to get that shot.
There's no
and
way
yet
to get it.
You're only seeing it for a second or two. You have no idea that what you're seeing is coming out of a little GoPro, a little consumer cam.
Yeah.
But it looks great.
I can always tell if it's a GoPro shot if it ends abruptly halfway through, like all my GoPros like to die. It's like,
it doesn't happen to everybody.
There's a little clock inside, and I think there's a variable that says, is warranty expired? And once that goes to true, it's just like, okay, nothing to see, everybody, shut it down.
The Genius Act paves the way for future presidential crypto grift. Trump's poised to sign the Genius Act, a stablecoin bill. Critics, including Representative Maxine Waters, warn it lacks consumer safeguards and could enable presidential corruption and hidden foreign bribes, especially with Trump's crypto ties. The act aims to boost crypto use, yet fears of financial instability and scams persist.
Yeah. We don't have a lot of legislation around this currently, so there's a part of my brain that says, well, some decent legislation is better than
starting somewhere.
Legislation. Yeah, you got to start sort of somewhere.
This one's particularly interesting because it states that Congress is not allowed, members of Congress are not allowed to profit from stablecoins.
Nope.
And they totally omit any mention of the executive branch.
Just Congress.
Yeah, just Congress.
Executive, what's that? Executive branch? What's that?
Let them make all they want.
What? That's kind of fascinating to me. You would think that you would want to just say, hey, you know what? We probably shouldn't let anybody who's in a role of making, I don't know, laws.
Anyone elected, let's say.
Sure. That seems reasonable to me.
Sure.
But no.
Explain for a second for us what a stable coin is. That's a specific thing.
Yeah. So
it's not just any type of crypto. It is a specific type.
Yeah. Typically it's backed by something. A lot of the stable coins you see backed by the US dollar, something that in theory is highly liquid and is low risk.
Short-term treasuries.
Sure. Yeah. Which is kind of fascinating to me because I'm like, well, wait, wasn't the whole pitch for crypto to not be backed by that? But we'll save that for another longer episode. So they've established some key provisions for like public disclosures, maintaining some reserve. Like there does seem to be a modicum of decency there.
Some annual accounting, some annual audited accounting.
Like,
yes.
Like things that we just hold as standard for other public companies. And I see a lot of parallel between where we're at now and let's say the 2020s with crypto and where we're at in the 1920s and 1930s
sure.
with public companies, right? Like there are some parallels there. And there were a bunch of people that were taken back then, which is why we formed the SEC and we tried to put in some modicum of trust so that folks would believe in the system. And that was probably one of the greatest cogs in the works of making us superpower effectively. I don't mean that military. I mean that just like
big advancement in U.S. capitalism.
Yeah,
for sure.
And that's been a huge win for us. So I want to remain optimistic that this is another step in that direction. But then you look at what's excluded and you're like, yeah, but you probably should have had some of these things in place.
Right.
I can remain somewhat optimistic that we'll get there in a revisional effort. I just come back to the simple concept of like, you already have an arm of government that has their own branded coin that has very, very, by design, very limited transparency.
Sure.
I will not be surprised. I was going to say 2026 or later. It might even be 2025 when it is announced you get like 30% off your federal taxes if you pay in Trump coin. That's coming, right? I see this being set up and that's going to be a thing where, because who wouldn't? You'd be like, oh, sure, I'll take a discount. I get to pay this digitally. It's so much more efficient. It's like,
sure.
You still paid it digitally. Who's actually sending in a check? 0 people. Everyone is just ACHing money in.
Sure.
Like it's the same thing. Like nothing there has changed. So anyway, I am fascinated by this and seeing where this goes. It looks like this is going to be a thing. This Genius Act.
The bigger worry might be foreign countries who are currying favor, who send money in, and we have no ability to trace that money coming in, who it came from.
Very limited ability to know where it's coming from. So it's like, oh, just go buy a bunch of this coin. It's like, well, you didn't directly give me the money yet, but you have propped up this sort of quote unquote currency. And that's not great.
Okay, enough with the headlines. In fact, enough with this episode. We have to get out of here. Special thanks to our floor director, Dennis Smith.
Thanks, Dennis.
We'll be back later this week with our big story, Crush Your Day, starting tonight. Unlock your best sleep.
Did you know that one job in early English mill and factory towns was to knock on people's windows to wake them up for work?
Okay.
It's like the only job more hated than collecting taxes. And also, why are we the only mammals that are willing to delay sleep? Right? Why?
Don't know.
It doesn't apply to my wife because she will not delay sleep at all, ever, for anything.
Because she's sensible.
Well, that's one word for it.
You know we're doing this story Thursday.
Oh, I should check my notes.
Until then, thank you for listening to all this nonsense. I'm Jeff Parker.
I'm Stu Little.
Salagashle.
Oh, your Zulu is terrible.
You think I'm unaware?
I mean, we're always critical of Musk's disasters.
Sure,
but
sure.
screwing up the pronunciation of one of South Africa's 11 official languages will be the thing that finally gets us hate mail from him. You know this, right?
It's the one thing he'll care about.
The one thing he's going to
care.
care. He's like, robotoxins, yeah, they kill a bunch of people. But no, don't screw up this pronunciation.
Salagashle, everybody.
Zulu's hard. As a photography fanatic, I know that most digital cameras are designed to be portable, letting you go where the images are, right? Totally makes sense.
Sure.
But did you know that there's a smaller class of digital cameras designed to stray no farther than your desktop and capture still and moving images?
I didn't know that.
I know what you're asking yourself, Jeff. Why would anyone want a stationary digital camera? It makes no sense. Well, typically you need it for one of two reasons.
Yes.
Product photography or video conferencing.
Okay.
And you can get a smaller desktop digital camera such as Kinectic's original $199 quick cam, which reproduces images in black and white.
Wow.
Or the newer color quick cam for $469.
Fancy.
Both are ideal for mating with desktop video conferencing systems since they can be mounted on top of your monitor.
Amazing.
Now, a few monitors, this is really going to blow your mind. A few monitors even offer built-in video cameras like Nokia's 447X AVC. It's a 17-inch unit with a built-in color video camera, omnidirectional microphone, and stereo loudspeakers for an MSRP of $3,080.
Wow.
Right? Or you can pick up Sony's PC Cam or Videolab's Flex Cam, each available for about $1,000. They have flexible goosenecks that can be adjusted to almost any position, including straight down, for all your chat roulette time. Adding a camera to your computer is truly revolutionary.
You're adjusting the prices to modern day numbers.
Always. Yeah. Have you been on the show before?
This is my first time.
Yeah. So those are in today dollars.
Yeah.
That monitor, right? That was $3,000 in today dollars. That was $1,500.
Still a lot of money. Yeah, for
a
sure.
lot of money.
Yeah.
So give me a sense of when this was. I got this one wrong.
So we have color cameras and
Yep.
color cammers that attach to monitors, things like
Yeah.
that. Probably camera.
You're also selling black and white cameras still. That's important. You're still selling. You're still offering a black and white camera on your desktop.
We were still offering black and white webcams
Yeah.
in like 95.
Okay.
You don't even have to go back that far.
So
my guess is going to be maybe 97 when you were selling both the color cam webcams and still selling black and white webcams. 96, 97.
Interesting you guessed 97. So this is late 96, so I'll give it to you, 97. I thought earlier, I didn't think we still were selling black and white cameras that late.
Oh, yeah.
That's interesting. It's not my recollection. I never owned a black and white camera. I don't even know when I got the first camera.
By the way, that's the only reason I can come anywhere close.
Was the black and white?
The black and white gives me a marker.
Interesting.
We just stopped selling them after a while. It
But
just
again,
wasn't necessary.
so nuts that you're talking about like a camera, like forget about the black and white one, like the color camera, $470 in today's money.
Oh, yeah.
I think you got it.
All right.
Good job, Jeff. You guessed correctly yet again.